Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to your practice this week. So I have the usual suspects, some blocks and a blanket. Remember, you can grab books, you can grab a towel. If you want to, grab a cushion to sit on, whatever you need to do to make this practice your own. So I'll let you press pause, grab what you need, and I'll see you back on the mat when you're ready. Okay, my lovelies. So we're going to move through our practice this week. We were working on opening up the front side of the body last week. We're going to kind of build on that and add in the side body. So we're really going to play around with opening up the rib cage and being able to deepen our breath. So before we get into any of that, first of all, let's find a seat. Let's just kind of check in with our breath. So if you want to sit on the floor with your legs crossed, that's great. Feel your sit bones, right? So notice if you're kind of sitting a little bit forward because you're keen and you're raring to go. See if you can just come back a little fraction so your shoulders are over your hips. And then also notice if, there's tightness here, this is where you're going to slouch back, okay? And actually physically experience that. So really feel that slouching back into the sit bones. You can feel there's a stretch happening in the back as if you were doing cat pose, and there's a squishing happening in the front of your body. We're rounding out, okay? So there's that slouching. So there's not, if you take a deep breath here, right, that breath is hindered by the shape of your body, right? When we sit forward, right, so actively kind of sit with a straight back, but bring your shoulders right over your knees and take a deep breath here. Right? Again, there's some hindering because we're tensing through the diaphragm. All right, so find your version. If you want to, you sit on your cushion, sit on your blanket, sit on your blocks, okay? If sitting cross-legged is not your thing, okay? You do not have to sit cross-legged at the beginning of yoga, right? So it might just be that you sit with your legs out, okay? Whatever you need to do, but let's just find those sit bones. So have a little wiggle around. See if you can find the points of them, however you need to sit, whatever you're sat on, okay? And let's just find a neutral spine. So as you breathe in, this spaciousness, whatever version, and then put your hands however they feel comfortable, okay? So however your hands feel comfortable, they can be on the floor, they can be on your knees, they can be palms up, palms down, they can be in your lap. You can have a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly. So however you want your hands to begin your practice. And remember, our arms and our hands are extensions of our heart center. So just find that nice poise for your hands. We can start to tap into that sense of a heartfelt yoga practice. So as you sit, just noticing your breath. You don't have to do anything with it. Just bring your attention, noticing. Noticing the breath in, noticing the breath out. Noticing if it feels a little bit rough, a little bit stiff, a little bit jagged. Notice if there's ease and flow. And we're just checking in to where we are in this moment. You can have your eyes closed, you can have your eyes open. We're just observing the breath. We're just taking a temperature of where we are mentally, physically, emotionally. And then from that sense of being present with where we are, And just accepting that we have the space to move forward with kindness, with compassion. We can meet ourselves in a little bit of challenge without overdoing it. Okay, so as we hang out with our breath, as we hang out with checking in on a sensory level, noticing what's present, I invite you to set your intention for your practice. Beautiful. So let's deepen what's going on through the top of the hips a little bit. Let's bring the soles of our feet together. And again, you can stay sitting on whatever it is you're sat upon. And just bringing the soles together. For this one, we're going to bring the soles as close to our groin as we can without rolling back. Okay, so even if you're sat on something, okay, you can just lift yourself up and just re-find those sit bones, right? So as you draw your feet back, if I come too far back, I'm going to roll back. So if I just lift myself up, lower down, now I'm back on the points of my sit bones, okay? And remembering for lifting up, right, you have your blocks, your books, right? You can use those to give yourself some leverage, especially if you're sat on something, right? Because their arms are only so long. And then from here, we're going to maybe think about interlacing our fingers around our toes. So we're drawing shoulders down with that movement, right? So we're actively pulling the shoulders down rather than hunching around to try and reach our feet. So draw the shoulders down, reach for the toes, lift the chest up, and then we're going to hinge from the hip socket. We'll just take a little hinge here from the hip socket. Let the chest lift. Let the belly draw forward. And if you feel that you have the space, you might be able to just pulse your knees very slightly with just a little pulse. And then come back to stillness. Notice if your hands are really gripping, let your hands soften. Draw the shoulders down again, actively pulling the shoulders down, actively lifting out through the crown of the head, pressing the sit bones down. So just starting to maybe be a little bit more active with the breath, starting to physically deepen the breath, so drawing the diaphragm down, feeling the chest expand, the belly expand. And then as you exhale, just feeling the belly slightly draw in and up. So it's going to be a little bit active with our breath. We'll move into some core stability movements presently. And just before we get there, I'm going to invite you to release your hands. Move your feet away from your body, and we're going to just let the body drape forward just for a couple of breaths. So we want to move the heels away so you've got room for your back to stretch. Let your head be heavy. Remember, you can use your props as you need them. Okay, so you can have your hands resting on your blocks if you need to. You can have your hands resting on the inside of your legs. And we'll take just a couple of breaths here. On your next exhale, very slowly, let's roll up to sitting, nice tall spine. So again, we want that neutral spine, so we want to find that fluidity in our stability. So with a tall spine, we don't want to be rigid, but we don't want to be too slouchy. So we're just finding that beautiful balance, Sthira Sukham Asana, which is one of the sutras, balance of effort and ease. Beautiful. All right, my lovelies. Let us lean back, and we're going to just windscreen wiper the legs from side to side. Okay, beautiful. So let's make our way onto our hands and knees. Remembering you can put your blanket under your knees if you want a little bit of support, if your kneecaps are sensitive. Okay, so we're going to place our hands under our shoulders, knees are under the hips. And let's have the toes curled under today. So as we're hanging out here, okay, first of all, we want to notice if we're already having a little bit of a sway back. We're already kind of slouching down into a cow pose. So let's get that spine nice and neutral, just as we had it when we were seated. So the belly's going to be just drawn slightly in. And we're going to set our hands, because we're going to be on our hands for a little bit of this practice. So let's roll the weight into the thumb side of the palm, and then roll that weight up into the fingertips and the knuckles. Feel your arm activate. So that's your checklist. When I'm telling you to check in with your hands, that's what you're going to be wanting to doing. Rolling the weight to the thumb side, and then from that thumb side, rolling up into the fingertips and the knuckles. Beautiful. So let's just move between cat and cow. So you can inhale, cow pose, belly down, chin up, tailbone up. Exhale, rounding out through the spine. So just waking the spine up. And then as an option, as you move into your cat-cow, maybe start to roll the spine. So there's a side-to-side movement as well as that cat-cow movement. So it's almost like you're rolling around a ball. We want that sense of undulating. We want that fluidity in our stability. And as you're ready, let's change directions. Don't think too much about it. So as we change directions, as we've added this movement, just again, checking in what's going on with your hands. Where is the weight in your hands right now? Just going through that little checklist. All right, my lovelies, come back to center. Set your belly just a little bit engaged. And we're going to slide back with the right foot. So as you slide the right foot back, press into your heel as if you were going to slide the left foot back to come into a plank. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to slide the right foot back. Okay? Take the weight into the hands and then up into the fingertips and the knuckles. Press through that right heel so the whole body's active. And we're going to lift up the left hand. So we're coming into bird dog. So we want to keep the hips level. We're going to inhale, pick up the right foot. As you exhale, elbow and knee comes together. Okay. So now we've added some movement. Move with your breath. Inhale, finish the inhale, pressing through the fingers through the feet. Exhale, knee to elbow. Okay, so whole body's active. So again, just checking in with where the weight is in your right hand. 2 more. And then on your next exhale, let's come back down. So take a breath here, reset. And as you're ready, we'll slide back through the left foot. So again, we're active in that left leg as if we were about to step into a full plank. Then as you're ready, we'll take out that right hand, stretch it forward. Let's have thumb facing up. Okay, so fully active. Check out where the weight is in your left hand. And then let's have both the hands equally active. And then your feet are as active as your hands. Both feet. Let's pick up the left foot. Exhale, bring it knee to elbow. Inhale, reaching. And we'll do just a couple of these. So do your best to keep your hips level. When the hips are level, you know you're using the front and the back of the body equally. Inhale, stretch it out. And exhale, come back down. Beautiful. So we're going to come into a plank now, but we'll come into a forearm plank just to release the hands. So press your palms down into the mat, or you can interlace your fingers. But if you're interlacing the fingers, notice if you start getting white knuckled. So step back with your feet. So let's find a nice long plank. So notice if your bum's kind of lifting up. Okay, so we want that nice long plank. We're going to exhale, bring the right knee down. Inhale, float it up. And then exhale, the left knee down. Inhale, float it up. Exhale, both knees down. Inhale, up. So exhale the right knee down. Inhale it up. Exhale the left knee down. Inhale it up. Exhale both knees down. Half plank. Inhale it up. Okay, let's do both knees again. Exhale down. Inhale up. Last time, exhale down. Inhale up. Press into the heels. One more breath here. And then exhale. Knees down. Belly down. Chest down. Forehead onto the back of the hands. Take a breath here. Beautiful. Okay. Come back onto the elbows. And then as you're ready, okay, we're coming into a Sphinx pose. Step back with the right foot. Step back with the left foot. Inhale, draw your crown of your head up and draw the occipital bone back. So you're creating a double chin here. Beautiful. And then on your next exhale, let's bring the hands under the shoulders as we bring our forehead onto the mat. And then we're going to make our way up into a down-facing dog. So as you inhale, make yourself nice, loose and soft. Curl the toes under. And we're going to do 2 moves on the exhale breath. So as you exhale, you're going to exhale, draw the belly towards the spine. Pick yourself up into a half plank. And then float the bum up. 1 long exhale breath. Inhale, get nice and loose and soft. And then as you're ready, exhale, step, step. Forward fold. Soften the knees, let the body dangle here. Beautiful. All right, my lovelies. Inhale, soften the knees, press out through the sit bones. And then as you exhale, we're going to round up through the spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. So we'll come all the way up to standing. Inhale, you can float the arms up. And then exhale, float them down. So taking a couple of breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling. Notice if your toes are gripping, let your toes be light. Know where your feet are, so feet are hip width. Couple of breaths here. So just notice all those micro movements as you stand. So we're not completely still. We look still on the outside. There's an appearance of stillness. We feel all the micro movements that are happening internally. Feel the movement in your body, just the breath creates. Okay. Inhale, float the arms up. And then exhale, soften into a forward fold. Good. Inhale, find your version of a halfway lift. So for a halfway lift, we want the legs as straight as they can be, and we want to draw the shoulder blades together so you're feeling a little bit of a stretch through the front side of the shoulders. Okay, so you're halfway lift, maybe having your hands on your thighs, on your shins, on your ankles. You might be able to get to the floor, but notice if that makes you round out your back. Beautiful. Next time you exhale, let's forward fold. All right, my lovelies. Press the hands down into the floor on your next inhale. Make the knees as bent as you need to get your hands down. And then we're going to exhale, step, step, plank pose. Okay, so we've done one plank already. We did that forearm plank. So you know how you want this to feel in your body. So check out where the weight is in your hands, first of all, and then press through the heels. So from here, we're going to drop a right knee down. Notice your bum doesn't jump up. Inhale, bring that right knee back. And then exhale, bring the left knee down. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale without your bum kicking up. Let's bring both knees down. Half plank. Inhale, bring the knees back up. We'll do one more round. Left knee down, right knee down. Inhale it back up. Exhale the left knee. Inhaling back up. Exhale both knees. Inhale back up. Beautiful. All right, my loves. Exhale the left knee down. And we'll take our foot out to the side. Bring your right hand in line with your right knee. And we're going to pivot on the left foot. So 4 corners of the foot are now on the mat. We're heading to a side plank. Bring your your left hand onto your left hip. As you're ready, inhale, pick up the leg. Left leg's going to float. Maybe your left arm can float. Beautiful. Exhale. Let's come back. Plank pose. Take a breath. And as you're ready, bring your left knee down. Turn your toes. Left hand comes in line with the left knee. Roll on to the side of your right foot. Plant the 4 corners. Hand on the hips. Big breath here. And then maybe you can pick up your right leg. Maybe you can pick up your right arm. Beautiful. All right, my lovies. Let's roll it out. Plank pose. On your exhale, both knees down, half plank, chest follows all the way down to the floor. One long exhale breath. Inhale, let's draw the chest forward and up for a cobra pose. Beautiful. And then exhale, let's float it down. Inhale, get nice and loose and soft. As you exhale, peel yourself up, half plank, follow all the way through, down facing dog. So we've got that fluidity happening in the stability of the transition. On your next inhale, soften the elbows, soften the knees, and then exhale, step, step, forward fold. Inhale as you're ready, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Soften the knees, press the palms into the mat. Feel that sensation of your sit bones pushing back and opening up. And then as you exhale, draw the belly in towards the spine. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, float the arms up when you finish your exhale. And exhale, arms down. All right, my lovelies. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Okay. So from here, my lovelies, soften the hands into the floor. And then as you're ready, you're going to step back with your left foot. Bring the knee to the ground. And we'll take a little twist in a lunge so that we've got some opportunity to check out that the knee is over the ankle. So if you feel the inside of your knee, feel that little nubbly bit, that's stacked over the nubble in your ankle, right? So by doing that, what we've done is we've created structure. So now we can have some fluidity with the muscles to move, right? So we're using the stability of the skeleton, and then the muscles can be a little bit more fluid. If your foot's back here, you're stuck in the knee joint, which means your muscles have to grip on, okay? But most of the action is happening in the tendons and the ligaments of that connection for your knee joint. All right. So from here, Again, just as we were doing, we want to work on some strengthening. You can bring your right hand inside of your right leg. You can keep your right hand to the outside. You can have your hands on your blocks if you need to have a little bit of lift so that you have some room, okay? Especially if you find that you're tight in here, okay? So I'm just percolating you right now. You might find there's some tightness in there, and in that case, just lifting your hands up a little bit will give you some more space, okay? So the left toes are turned under. We're going to draw the right hip back, left hip forward, and just as we were doing with that plank move, we're going to straighten the leg and lower down. Okay, so we're not moving out of our stretch. Beautiful. So just a couple more. Perfect. And then let's float that knee down. So now we are going to take our right hand to the inside of the right leg. Again, if you know you're tight in that section of your hip, that front of your hip, please use your blocks here. Okay, so we want to work with the body. We want to invite the body to explore rather than force the body into shape so that it might not be quite ready to go in this time. Okay, so we're going to pick up that back knee, pivot on the back foot, find the four corners of the foot, sit as low as you can. Okay, right hand is going to be on the floor. All four corners of the left foot are on the floor and you're parallel to the bottom of your mat. So we're going to just swing the left arm. Okay, so again, just find some fluidity here. And then as you're ready, swing the left arm forward to the top of your mat, coming up all the way across your face. And then just come to where you feel resistance. Come to that point in your shoulder where you feel resistance to go any higher. You have to drop the shoulder down. Just pause there. So this might be where you're at. See if you can start to roll the left shoulder over the right, even if you put a bend in the elbow. Okay? And then from here, you might be able to bring the arms up a little higher. Beautiful. 2 more breaths here. So really sit into that squeeze that's happening in the right hip right now. We always think of yoga as stretch, but yoga is also about strengthening, and we're also wanting to squeeze the body in yoga. As you're ready, exhale, bring that hand down. Pivot on the back foot. Bring the right hand to the outside of the right leg. We're going to inhale, we'll get nice and loose and soft. So find a pulse here. Okay, so the inhale, nice and loose and soft. Exhale, step back. Oh, feel that delicious release as you find your down facing dog. And let's just take a breath here, just pausing here. Beautiful. Inhale, get nice and loose and soft. Exhale, step, step, forward fold. Taking a breath here, let your body dangle. So as we dangle here, notice you might be able to sink into that right hip a little bit more. Okay, that you might feel the difference between the right side and the left side after that beautiful deep squeeze. Beautiful. Let's put our hands back on the floor, soften the knees as much as you need to do that. So that's an inhale. The exhale, we're going to step back with the right foot. So we're coming into a low lunge here, knees down, knee can be on a blanket. We can put our right hand on the floor, left hand on our hip, so that we can check out the structure. So the knee is over the heel, please. Okay, so be aware, we always want to know where our body is in space. When we think of our senses, we think of a visual sense, we think of being able to smell, to taste, to touch. Okay, so one of the other senses is actually knowing our joints, so the angle of our joints, knowing where we are in space. okay? Being able to balance. We have sensory systems all over it, or sensory barometers all over our body to allow us to know where we are in space. So use those, activate those, tap into those. Knees over the ankle. So I've percolated you a little bit here, okay, with my chatter. Okay, and so as you're ready, have the left hand where it works for your body. So it might be that it's on the inside of your left leg. It might be that both hands are on props right now for this side. So we're going to start to float the right knee up as you inhale. Exhale, bring it down. Inhaling, bringing it up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. So notice we're keeping nice and low here. So we're not moving away from that compression that's happening in the left hip, which is what we tend to do when we come right up. Okay, so we're not trying to get into a high lunge. We're just staying nice and low. Beautiful. All right, my lovelies. Take a pause, take a rest. Catch your breath. Feel the rhythms that are happening inside your body. And just see if you can synchronize with the rhythm of your body. We'll take the left hand now to the inside of the left leg if it's not there already. We'll pick up the right knee. And then as you're ready, we're going to find that pivot, that turn on the right foot. Okay, and then from here, we're going to stay as low as we can. Again, just swing the right arm. Notice where your thoughts go. Oh, this isn't yoga, okay, but maybe it is. Okay, so next time you take your arm forward, take it all the way up. Find that point of resistance in your shoulder, okay, that if you go any further to get there, your shoulder's going to drop down. Okay, so just pause, be here. Rather than lift the arm up, see if you can draw the shoulder up. So we want to keep that opening, and again, maybe we can lift up a little higher now. Okay, but again, stop at the resistance point where the shoulder wants to just collapse down. Okay, and if you can get your hand all the way up, that's great, but not at the cost of the stretch, right? So we want to move into where we're feeling resistance. We don't want to move to avoid it. Couple more breaths. Good. All right, my lovelies. When you're ready, we'll take that right hand down. We'll pivot on the back foot. So as you inhale, find that kind of pulse. Find that fluidity to be able to move in this shape. We've opened up the hips quite a bit. As you're ready, next exhale, we'll step back. Down facing dog. Take a breath here. Big sigh. And then inhale, soften the elbows, soften the knees. So again, find that kind of sense of being able to pulse. And as you exhale, step, forward fold. We're going to heel toe our feet, open a little bit, and we'll make our way down into whatever your version of squat is. So we're not going to be here for a really long time. Okay, just hang out here for a little bit. Couple of breaths. And again, if it feels good to move, move. Okay, even if you're kind of up here, if you're up here, just touch your fingers down to the floor. Again, just get a little bit of movement. Okay, and again, just find that kind of sense of pulsing. Right, so it's quite a big stretch here. So if we move, we can move in and out of it. And then we can start to slow down to stillness. And then as we come to stillness, just feeling all the movement that's still happening internally. All the sensation that is happening internally in the shape. Okay, all right. So let's bring our fingertips down to the floor. Good, nicely done. Okay, so let's take our feet a little bit wider. Hold the hands out as if you were holding a ball. Okay, so nice wide hands. Okay, so the inhale, keeping that back straight, we're going to draw the belly forward. Okay, so notice my back is staying straight. The movement is coming from the hips. Inhaling, coming forward, and exhaling, we're coming back. Inhaling, we're coming forward, and exhaling, we're coming back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. So see, press your feet down. See if you can trust yourself. How far can you come back on your exhale? Notice there's that point where you doubt your strength and you collapse your back to go a bit further. See if you can breathe through that doubt. Keep your chest high. And again, just notice there's going to be that point where your back wants to kind of bend. See if you can engage the belly a little bit more. Breathe into it, lift your chest a little higher. Trust your strength, press your feet down. Okay? And then inhale, come forward. Okay, we'll do that one more time. We're exhaling, nice slow exhale. Play with this. How far can you go? Can you keep lifting through the crown of the head? Press through the feet. Okay, and then inhale. Nicely done. Okay. All right, my lovelies. So I'm going to invite you to turn on your mat. And this next little sequence of movement, we're opened up in here, so we're going to have a lot more room in our side body. However, I'm going to invite you to gather your props close because you may or you may not want them. Okay? So, first of all, we're going to sit with our feet as wide as we can manage with our sit bones. So we want, just as we did at the beginning of practice, again, you can lift yourself up just to help you find your sit bones. So again, just notice what happens when you collapse down, right? You're in kind of cushy parts. If this is happening, two options. The first option is sit on something, okay? So that's going to give you a little bit more space in here, okay? The second option is to close up your feet, okay? So what you might notice is with all the squeezing that we've done through here with the practice so far, you actually might have a little bit more room in here, okay? So let's take the feet as wide as you can manage where you stay on your sit bones, possibly sitting on a blanket, okay? And again, let's just find a little pulse here. So we're just kind of talking to the nervous system. If it feels a little tight here, if it feels like it wants to sing to you here, we're just introducing that stretch. And so we're always practicing with kindness, with compassion. We're always meeting the body where it is today, in this breath, in this moment. And we notice in our practice, as we stay attending to our breath, we start to slow everything down enough. We start to notice what's going on in our body. So we are going to take our right foot to the inside of our left thigh. Now, once we set up here, it's possible that you'll want something under your left knee. It's possible you'll want something under your right knee. So again, just honoring your body where it's at, if it needs some extra support. So we're going to take our left hand, right hand on the hip. Left hand, we're just going to slide. A little exhaling, inhaling, coming back up. Exhale, inhale. Again, find that sense of undulating, that softness, just like you're a piece of beautiful, heavy velvet that's being draped. And next time your hand slides, let's just hang out here. So we want to press down into the right sit bone here. And then as an option, if you can get your right shoulder to stack over your left shoulder, okay, so if your shoulder's coming forward, let the right hand drape behind you, okay? If you've got your shoulders stacked, keeping that kind of sense of stacking, sweep your right fingers towards your left toes along the mat and then sweep that arm up across your face. And then we'll just press into the right sit bone and find that deep stretch through the side body. So take your breath into the right side. Breathe into the right side of your body. Feel that sense of expansion. Beautiful. As you exhale, let's take the fingers back down towards the floor. Sweep the arms along and come back to center. Okay. So now we're going to take our left hand and we're going to just turn, so just like a quarter turn towards our right knee. The left hand is going to just rest. Could even be resting up, right? Just letting it rest. So right now, here we are in the beginnings of a twist, okay? But rather than taking the twist and just pulling at the sacral joints, where those in the low back, which tends to happen when we really reef into a twist, let's just let the hand rest as it is and start to breathe here. We're going to invite the right shoulder to turn back. And then maybe let your right fingers rest behind you. Maybe you can let your head turn towards that right shoulder a little bit more. So we've got the twist going through the length of the spine rather than just in the low back. So notice how much gripping is happening with your right hand. With your left hand, if you took your left hand away, would you kind of ricochet out of the twist, right? Just notice where forcing is happening. We want to invite depth. We want to invite challenge. You want to play at your edges, but without that sense of forcing, pushing through. Next exhale, let's unravel. Beautiful. All right, my lovelies. So let's stretch the right leg out. And we'll take the left foot now to the right thigh. So again, take a breath here to set yourself up, right? So blocks can go under your knees, right? Whatever you need. Find your sit bones, just checking in. We'll put the left hand on the hip, right hand on the right leg. We're just going to let the body slide. I'm just doing this a couple of times. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, coming down. So again, there's no forcing here. Just imagine you were a beautiful piece of kelp in the ocean currents. Right? So we're just letting the body move into the shape. And as you're ready, next time, you can just allow yourself to slide down and we'll hold. Again, no hurry to do anything else here. So we're just checking in. So is this side a little bit tighter, a little bit more crunchy, or is this side more open? Okay, maybe you don't notice, and that's fine too. So from here, if you're noticing that your left shoulder has kind of collapsed forward, just draw the left shoulder back, okay? And then I'm going to invite you to take your left hand and you can just rest it behind. That can be an option, okay? If you can get your shoulders to stack, then this is where I'll invite you to sweep the left arm all the way towards the right toes and then come up. We'll come into that beautiful deep shape, breathing into the left side of the body. So again, you're doing your version of this, whatever your version is. We just want to feel a stretch in the left ribs. So even if your shape is up here, this is still this beautiful stretch, right? And it can still be back here, right? The hand can still be back there. A couple more breaths. All right, Lois, as you're ready, let's float that left hand down. We'll slowly come back up to sitting. We'll take the left leg out. And then as you're ready, we'll just come into a little bit of a forward fold here. All right, my lovelies. So bring the hands back up. And we'll bring the right foot. So this time, we're going to bring the right foot up. And the right foot is going to, well, the right heel is going to come as close to the right hip as you can have it. Knee is pointing up to the ceiling. So again, just from this action, you might find that's making you roll back. So please feel welcome to sit on an extra something. If you need some support for your left knee, please put that back there. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to get our left hand to hug our right ankle. So left hand, right ankle. Beautiful. So now we're going to take our right fingers all the way towards the left foot. We'll come into a beautiful, deep, twisted side bend. We'll just take a couple of breaths here. Again, if this just feels a little bit too much, remember you can always have your left hand on the floor supporting you. You can let your left foot be a little further away, right? So there's lots of options for your shape. Couple more breaths. All right, my lovelies. So let's let the right fingers float to the floor, sweep along the floor back to center. We'll extend out the right leg. We'll take our left foot to our left hip. Knee points up to the ceiling. So again, take a moment, just honor, this might be the tighter side. Actually, this side might have more ease, so you can play around with that. As you're ready, you're going to take your right hand, and it's going to hug your right wrist, your left ankle. So as you're doing that, just notice again, it's a hug, right? So light, not gripping. So just light touch. Okay, and then from here again, just deciding on where you're at, take your fingers along the floor. You can come into your side bend. So this might be your shape, this might not be your shape. Okay, your shape might be that your foot's a little further away from your hip. You might have your right hand on the floor, and you might find your stretch here. Right, so there's lots of options. Lots of options. And again, we're not forcing, we're just going to where the body is able to go. Nice deep breaths. Breathing into the left side. As you're ready, float the left fingers down along the floor back to center. We'll bring the right knee in to meet the left. Lean back on the hands. And we'll just windscreen wiper the knees from side to side. So I'm going to invite you to just stretch out the front side of the body. We've done a bit of squeezing into the hips, so we had some room for those side bends. So we can come into a supported bridge. So as we do that, have your props handy that you're going to want for your Shavasana. Okay, so have those handy so that you don't have to move too much when we transition from a supported bridge to our Shavasana. So you'll come lying down on your back, knees are bent. So the first option is to actually just lay with your legs outstretched and your arms up overhead, and that actually might be the perfect stretch for you right now. Okay, so just come into that shape, check it out, just see how your body feels. We've done quite a lot of work in through that side body. If you do want a little bit more, you can take your block, slide it under your pelvis, so right at the tailbone, and stretch out your legs. So this might be where you want to hang out. If you're feeling a little bit of discomfort in your low back, first of all, bend the knees and see if moving the block down a fraction, so just like 1/2 centimeter, that might make all the difference. If that doesn't make a difference, I'm going to invite you to have your knees bent and your feet mat width, so you can feel the edges of your mat under your the soles of your feet, and stack your knees over your ankles so that we're getting that nice deep stretch still happening. So I'll let you choose the one that is working best for you. So both of them are stretching the front of the body. One of them is just giving a little bit more of a squeeze into the low back, and that may or may not suit your body today. Listen to what it is that your body is asking for, and just respect and honor your body's wisdom. Just checking back in with the breath. And as you're ready, if your legs are long, step your feet back. If your feet are wide, step your feet back together. Arms can come down by your sides. You lift your bum, take out the block from under your hips. And I'm going to invite you now to come down into your Shavasana. So whatever version of Shavasana you want to do, okay? So you can have a blanket under your head, you can have a blanket under your thighs. If you need a little bit more of something, put the blocks under your knees. Let your arms open to the sides of your body. Your hands can spill off your mat, palms turned up. An option, just letting your feet fall open at the heels, or you can take your feet mat width. And that can feel nice and relaxing too, just taking up some space. So as you rest here, just taking a couple of deep breaths. Noticing the quality of your breath as you breathe. Maybe notice your body feels a little bit more spacious. Ribs have got a little bit more mobility to stretch for a breath in. And then letting go of doing anything with the breath. Just allowing the body to breathe itself. Allowing yourself to surrender down into gravity. Letting the ground support your weight. Everything softens. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let the breath go. Bringing some movement to your fingers and to your toes. You're going to stretch your arms up overhead. Bend your knees. And from here, decide what it is that your body would like. Maybe your body just wants a little bit more stillness. Maybe just wiggling the toes and the fingers. Maybe your knees would feel good if you brought them into your chest. Maybe it would feel good to rock from side to side. Again, just listening to whatever it is that your body is craving rather than the habit, the thing that you usually do. And you might usually do it because it just feels so awesome. Just checking in that that's actually what your body wants in this moment. And as you're ready, land your feet on the floor. Now come rolling over onto a side, resting the head on the forearm, taking a breath or two here. Intention that you set at beginning of practice, and inviting that intention into the rest of your day, maybe into your week. And slowly, let's bring a hand onto the floor. Take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to peel ourselves up to sitting. Bring your palms together. We'll close our practice. We'll chant one Om together, thinking about something that you are in gratitude for. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let the breath go. And inhale to close. Om. Satnam. Thank you for sharing your practice, for sharing your time. Namaste.